My boyfriend M was a control freak. He refused to publicly acknowledge our relationship to colleagues and friends. Meanwhile, he became habitually controlling, demanding that I report my every move to him. One time, I planned to have hot pot with 2 friends and informed M beforehand. He asked, "What time are you leaving?" I said, "Around 3 or 4 in the afternoon." His mood soured instantly. "Why are you leaving so early? Dinner isn't until 6. What are you up to?" I explained, "It's been a long time since I saw my friends. We want to catch up. No need to wait until dinner time." His anger flared. "No, I won't allow you to leave that early. You must report your location and activities to me at all times." I found his behavior unreasonable, but didn't want to argue further. I made some excuses and left. At the restaurant, while we were enjoying our hot pot, M texted me again, demanding, "Send me a photo of who you're with, the dishes, and the waitstaff." I felt extremely uncomfortable but complied to avoid a fight. Later, he dictated that I should only spend an hour at dinner and come straight home afterward. I ignored him, which led to him calling me repeatedly, shouting so loudly that my friends could hear. I felt utterly humiliated. I can't even remember what we ate that night because I was so anxious, constantly checking my phone while trying to hold my ground. We had been together for 3 months by then. Initially, he was considerate and caring, frequently visiting me. But as our relationship became long distance, he grew increasingly harsh and controlling. Comparing the early days to the present, I thought maybe the distance was causing our insecurity and conflicts. So I made a reckless decision. Without telling my family or friends, I quit my job and moved to his city. Finally, we were living together, and I was hopeful about our future. For the first 3 months, I was job hunting while he often traveled for work, leaving me alone in the apartment, living a reclusive life. He seemed to have me cornered in a place he deemed safe, and we stopped fighting. Maybe I had a bit of a people-pleaser personality, not realizing his excessive control, thinking avoiding arguments was worth it. 4 months later, I landed a job at an internet company, and our conflicts intensified. M started making unreasonable demands about my attire, forbidding skirts above the knee, makeup, or accessories. He also objected to my gym workouts, suspicious of the trainers. I had to hide my flashy clothes and sneak to the gym when he wasn't paying attention. He tightly controlled my outings and social events, often hurling insults like, "You're such a slut! Why are you going out to eat? Do you have ulterior motives?" During a trip to LA with friends, he went berserk, texting me that he knew exactly where I was, naming my friends and the guest house and room we were staying in. He had mentioned knowing people in law enforcement who could access anyone's records. I even found screenshots on his computer of his ex-girlfriend's hotel records. He often accused me, saying, "Don't think I don't know about your dirty past." I'd retort, "Fine, tell me what I've supposedly done." He'd remain self-righteous, "I won't say now, but you know what you did." It was a tactic to manipulate me into thinking I was always wrong and he was right, making me feel like I constantly needed to prove my worthiness to him. Looking back, I can't understand why I was so obsessed with staying with him. Maybe it was because I felt I'd already sacrificed so much for him, quitting my job and moving to his city. Why couldn't we make it work? I wanted to prove I was better than his ex-girlfriends who didn't end up with him. Reflecting now, it's clear I was under a spell. I began to suspect M had something seriously wrong with him, so I memorized his phone password. One night, I unlocked his phone and discovered his other side. He was flirting with multiple women. One conversation with his first love stuck with me. He asked her, "Do you know what it feels like to have sex with someone else?" She replied, "No." He described our intimate moments in detail, saying, "It's indescribably amazing." I was furious, almost to the point of being sick. I also found out he had visited an ex-girlfriend even after we started dating. After this, I started monitoring social media for information about him and discovered he was a serial cheater. I began resisting M. The relationship brought me endless fear and torment, but breaking up was a slow process. I needed to disentangle myself mentally first. One night in March, he tried to control me again, forbidding me from going out with friends. Our argument escalated until I snapped, saying, "People like you deserve to be cheated on." He exploded, slapping me hard. Stunned, I reached for my phone to call the police, but he snatched it first. I ran out to press the call button for the concierge. He dragged me back into the bedroom, threatening, "Stay quiet, and I won't hit you again tonight." The violence left a deep psychological scar. For a long time after, whenever I saw the big windows in our bedroom at night, I'd feel an uncontrollable urge to walk towards them and fall. The fear of falling was so vivid. We both came from single-parent households. M's father was abusive, and his mother left when he was in elementary school. Early in our relationship, I thought we could relate to each other because of our broken families. I hoped we could build a warm, caring home together, but after that incident I realized M was beyond help and decided to leave him. I consulted a friend with a psychology background and recognized my own signs of Stockholm Syndrome. M had conditioned me to feel like I had to complete tasks he set, and any resistance led to endless fights, leaving me heartbroken. On the day I moved out, M blocked the car and begged, "Don't go. I'll take you to Thailand as you wanted. I promise I won't hit you again or doubt you. Let's go on a trip." Seeing his pitiful state, I softened and agreed to give it another try. But within months, we had another explosive argument. He found me texting someone and demanded, "Who are you talking to? Why are you texting them?" I replied, "Why should I tell you? I have my own privacy." Furious, he grabbed my throat with one hand and my laptop with the other, yelling, "Unlock this now and show me who you're talking to." I said, "I haven't done anything." Wearing just a camisole, he pinned me down on the bed, my knees on the floor, unable to move. Afraid he would hit me again, I ran to press the call button for the concierge. He found out and dragged me back to the bedroom, but the call had connected. I shouted, "Help! There's domestic violence here! Help me!" About 10 minutes later, concierge knocked on the door. M, trying to appear calm, told them, "It's nothing, just a couple's quarrel." I used all my strength to call for help. "It's really domestic violence. Please help me. He's going to beat me to death. You'll be responsible if something happens." He snapped, "If you're shameless, so am I." He opened the door, and there stood the staff. I felt humiliated, standing there in a tiny camisole, exposed and vulnerable. They asked what was happening, and M downplayed it. I shouted, "You're abusing your girlfriend." He retreated to the bedroom. He was known as a responsible, caring journalist, but at home, he was a monster. I asked the staff to call the police. When they arrived, M smoothly handed out cigarettes, saying, "It's just a fight. Sorry for the trouble." The police barely intervened, taking our IDs and leaving. After that, I moved out. Finally free, I sat in my new place and cried for a long time, feeling both relief and sadness. The trauma was deep. Even 2 or 3 years later, under stress, I'd dream of him. I dreamt of a drone bringing him into my room, grabbing my leg and dragging me into the cold night sky. I dreamt of running from him endlessly, only to be caught and caged like an animal, whipped by him. News about him was always a nightmare. I started to recover in the spring of this year. I began dancing, wearing makeup, buying lipstick, and dressing freely. No one controlled my life anymore. It felt like my life was finally blossoming. Later, one of M's ex-girlfriends messaged me on Ins, sharing her own experiences of his control. Through social media, I learned at least 6 women had suffered emotionally and physically from M. I didn't know what to do. Though I had escaped, more women could still suffer, and M would never face consequences for his actions.